Dictators are powerful and brutal. They symbolize total concentration of power. But you know what? Dictators are extremely anxious too. Like this guy. He's Kim Jong-2, former supreme leader of North Korea and the father of Kim Jong-un. The man was so paranoid that he wouldn't travel in an aircraft. He literally got an armor-plated train for himself and exclusively traveled in a super safe train. In fact, dictators have a perpetual fear of a citizen uprising or an assassination. This is why they also become xenophobic. I mean, you don't want unknown people from free countries coming in and spoiling your obedient citizens with ideas like freedom and liberty. Talking of xenophobia, this guy is so xenophobic that he pays $78,700 for reporting foreign agents in China. And Chinese bloggers are now minting money out of his paranoia. And welcome, you're watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI media group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and in this video I will tell you how Chinese bloggers are monetizing Xi Jinping's paranoia. Let's begin. Chinese President Xi Jinping is turning extremely paranoid and xenophobic due to his actions like human rights abuses against ethnic minorities, mismanagement of the pandemic, economic collapse, and vindictive crackdowns against billionaire entrepreneurs. She lives in permanent fear of a coup. Meanwhile, Chinese bloggers are using clickbait nationalism to monetize their president's fears. Chinese President Xi Jinping became the center of global attention due to his high-handedness, including actions like tormenting ethnic minorities and using the Chinese military for Beijing's salami-slicing tactics. He continuously fears that China's rivals would join hands with his enemies in China to unseat him. And how do you avoid a coup? Well, last year, Xi decided to launch a campaign against foreigners. He came to power in the year 2012, and since then, he has been actively campaigning against hostile foreign forces in China. He has closed China's doors to the world instead of opening up the communist country. Xi has tightened foreign investments and has made it difficult for foreign corporate giants to operate in the country. This has come at the cost of Chinese economic growth, but Xi Jinping is more concerned about his power than the Chinese economy. Xi Jinping has been constantly suppressing foreign NGOs and civil society, apart from stepping up the study of Marxism and trying to assert ideological control in Chinese education. Meanwhile, Xi's actions are allowing the Chinese state media and nationalist bloggers to step up their xenophobic rhetoric. Individuals and groups are being described as foreign agents and China's enemies, merely for receiving foreign grants or relaying foreign concerns regarding China's adverse actions across the world. The xenophobic sentiment is so strong that even those demanding environment-friendly policies are being dismissed as hostile forces. The Chinese state permits and encourages such a narrative being pushed by ultra-nationalist bloggers in the country. Take the case of China House, a social enterprise based in Shanghai, promoting sustainable development in the African continent. When the enterprise called out discrimination against African migrants in southern China, it was ridiculed as a guizi, a derogatory term used for the supporters of the Japanese occupiers in the 1930s and 1940s. Interestingly, the Communist Youth League, a CCP-run youth movement, too reposted adverse content against China House. Meanwhile, growing xenophobia in China is turning into a good opportunity for Chinese bloggers to make some money, with Xi constantly pushing a narrative against the so-called hostile foreign forces. Many ultra-nationalist bloggers and little-known social media hardliners are launching verbal attacks against foreign nationals and organizations. The core audience of such ultra-nationalist elements is young men aged 18 to 25. They know there are CCP supporters all across the country who want to read about China's so-called enemies. Since China's state security services also offers rewards of up to 500,000 yuan or $78,700 for reporting foreign agents to the CCP authorities, seemingly unpatriotic Chinese individuals are being mocked as a walking 500,000 or simply 500,000. You know, Chinese xenophobia has reached levels where even Chinese citizens aren't being spared. With nationalism becoming a matter of internet entertainment in China, it is easy to find videos of anti-China treachery in the country. In the words of a Chinese liberal whose employer was targeted last year, nationalists discovered that videos about anti-China treachery generate clicks. An NGO veteran said, if you have a lot of clicks, you become influential, and influence drives revenues. He's right. A video against China House, for example, has been visited 5 million times. The hunger for consumption of ultra-nationalist and xenophobic content is growing in China, courtesy of Xi Jinping, and nationalist bloggers in China are taking full advantage.